You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Come on, then. I'll bite your legs off!
I can take it.
Great power comes great responsibility. We have a home.
Get to the chopper! And leave. Does the flesh wound?
I am the father.
Welcome to the greatest pleasure ship ever built. Good times forever!
I have something here, sir.
I've never seen anything like this.
It's a malfunction, sir.
That's impossible. Where are they coming from?
I don't know, sir, but whatever it is, it's, big.
They answered a distress call.
Where the hell is everybody?
Now,
What the hell was that?
they're dead in the water.
I got a really bad feeling about this.
The ship's infested. Let's get the hell out of here!
What the hell is that? The girl from Ipanema.
I don't mean to sound like a wuss, but this is starting to freak me out, man.
I vote we leave. Who votes we leave?
Deep rising.
And welcome back to the 46th episode of Sludgecast's Monster Movie Stompdown. Of course, you got Sludge here, my man across from me,
Mark.
our brother from Texas.
Ruben.
And we've got a special guest in the house, Charlie Chase. Charlie, say hello.
How we doing out there?
So Charlie, me and Charlie became friends on Facebook, and you started a group called Give Me Back My Action Movies.
Yep.
Which, by the way, for those listening, I got an awesome sticker now that Charlie brought me. Actually, Charlie came over and brought me a wood carving Godzilla picture, and it's absolutely awesome. So it's going to be going up in the Nerd Vault.
We didn't get one, Ruben, so don't worry about it.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
What Ruben needs is a wood carving of In-N-Out Burger, and we can ship it to him.
Oh, we can do that.
Because he loves that.
I will definitely carve you out an In-N-Out burger.
You know what? You know what? That
And
won't
Mark's
make it
getting
through custom.
RoboCop.
Here
That-
we go.
yeah.
Here we go.
That carving will not make it through Texas Customs. Constantly and burned.
Oh, man.
Okay.
We're chalking this up as drug paraphernalia.
I'm wrapping
You know
it
what?
up in
Yeah,
cellophane
I'm telling
tape.
you what, man. Yeah, if you'd have a better chance of getting in a block of cocaine than
That's awesome.
Oh.
But so Charlie's got a Facebook group he started that I've joined, and it's a great group. I absolutely love it. Give Me Back My Action Movies. And you guys will be doing your own podcast.
Yep.
And
We are getting ready to start our own podcast based on action movies.
which is, I think,
All
awesome.
right.
So it's going to be like a review show type deal.
Kind of a review show, more of just a love letter to action movies. That's why I called it Give Me Back My Action Movies. You know, I want what I used to feel when I watched movies back as a kid and a teenager. And there's a small resurgence out there.
Mhm.
You have to look for it, though. And
Yeah.
so I
There's not
wanted,
much out there.
there's really not. You got to dig deep.
Yeah.
But trying to find people that felt the same way, and it's been amazing that everyone's like, yeah, well, yeah, I love that. That's fantastic. You know, especially in the group. You know, especially when I got you on there, Sludge. It was just finding people that just like, oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that. You know?
Like, guaranteed, I will be a listener of every episode.
I can't wait. And we're going to be going live in January, getting past the holidays. We thought about starting it earlier, but just trying to get past the chaos that's going on right now. But yeah, fully going on live. January, got my co-host Dan Colley. He lives in Columbus, Ohio, so he's a neighbor to Pete, or good buddy Pete Quinn at Good Beer Bad Movie.
Awesome.
And so we're
shout out to Pete.
Yep. And Dan's got a little bit of background in radio and stuff like that, so maybe a little bit of an edge, hopefully
cool.
for us. He's got that radio voice. Me, I just want to talk about the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, really looking forward to it, and I appreciate you having me on the show today.
Oh, definitely, man. Super stoked. And of course, now when you guys drop it, we'll make sure and share out, the website links and things like that.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
People can definitely find it because I'm listening to it. Everyone should listen to it.
And we share everything Sludge comes across to on our stuff.
Oh
so
man,
it's
greatly appreciate it, man. And I love it too because like you'll post up those pictures of like what's Charlie watching in the office today.
I get a pretty good response out of those.
You do, man.
And man, sometimes they answer them like lightning fast, and then there's other times it's like, I don't know. And you know how hard it is to take a picture and go, no, that's too easy if I put the actor in the classic scene. But then I'll do one that just looks generic, and the first comment was some guy going, well, that's the most generic picture I've ever seen of an action movie. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the point, guys. I wanted, interaction.
That's what I was about to say. I said, that's why exactly I did that. And if you don't know what it is, well,
right. It's like, I go deep cut sometimes, it's not always like Terminator 2 or something, I get deep.
Yeah.
Like I did the Split Second with Rutger
Hauer. Oh yeah. When you threw it up, I'm like, I know that movie.
Exactly.
Great movie.
Love that. Cause I was super excited to even find it on Prime, it's like, holy crap, that movie's on here.
Wow.
Play.
I mean, that was for the Split Second for me, especially Hauer. I mean, when Hauer passed, we did a special thing for him. He's one of my favorite actors. I mean, Split Second, dude. I mean, how often did I wear that movie out as a kid?
Oh yeah. That was.
And again, my father let me watch some movies I watched was get to see Kim
I'm
Cattrall naked
in the same boat. You watch people get eviscerated in that movie.
Oh,
and, you're like, Dad, you sure I'm okay to watch this? Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you're good.
I tried to keep him away from RoboCop, but it just didn't work. He just kept watching.
There he goes.
So, that is.
Hey, sometimes Mark just wouldn't show me the good movies. I had to find them on my own.
Yeah, he found Titanic.
No,
he loved it.
Not.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, right on. So yeah, dude, I'm stoked for the show. Can't wait to hear the first episode, and I'm glad you're here with us tonight. So we wanted you here. Just because of the friendship we've built, and they want to promote the Facebook page. And so for those on Facebook, check out Give Me Back My Action Movies. Join it. We have a blast on there. And then look forward to the podcast when it comes out.
Yep.
And then of course, so tonight's movie we picked in design, for you, we wanted to do a monster movie that had a lot of action, and that's why we picked Deep Rising from 1998.
Perfect selection.
Oh, perfect action horror comedy. All the way around. So super stoked to jump into that. Before we do, though, I've got a couple news articles I wanted to put up because haven't done that in a little bit, but there's some cool things that's came out that I wanted to mention. We'll do Mark's news article. Mark's like, are you going to tell us? No, I'm not telling you that.
We know we don't have no idea what's about to be said.
Going in blind.
So I thought it was pretty cool. Of course, we pre-record these, as you guys know, usually the Wednesday before the Saturday they come out, and it hit the news today that Ezra Miller, who has been cast as Trash Can Man in The Stand.
Wow.
Thought that was pretty cool.
Yes.
Wow.
And he's such a cool actor as far as a character actor. I think he will nail that role, like the pyromaniac character and stuff. I'm like, I think it's going to be really, really cool. So I'm stoked about it because The Stand comes out December 17th. The only thing I'm worried about with The Stand before we get to the next article is, of course, it's Josh Boone is doing this one. I mean, you got a great cast. Whoopi, still a good actress, I guess. We'll find out. We won't talk about her outside of the movies.
Yeah.
You've got Whoopi, you've got Alexander Skarsgård, who is, I absolutely love him. And
he does no wrong right now.
Oh yeah. Like him, like Tarzan, dude, like Greystoke was always my favorite Tarzan. Even when Casper Van Dien's, was it Tarzan in the Lost City or whatever?
Well,
Yeah, that was garbage. I'm a big Tarzan fan. But when Legend Tarzan came out, dude, Skarsgård, he's Tarzan now for me. Like I loved him. That whole family. I mean, the entire, all those guys can freaking act.
They have range that just can be unmatched.
So good.
So that kind of throws out there can be only one That just throws that all completely out.
That's Highlander. We're not putting
I
that.
know,
That's
but I mean,
totally
it's still.
different.
We're not putting that with Tarzan.
Okay, yeah, but that was your favorite Tarzan before.
That was, yes. That
so
was.
there can be more than one.
No, it's replaced.
Okay,
It's a replacement.
I just want to go there.
We're not sharing this.
One gets dropped out. Yeah,
Okay.
one gets
We're
dropped out. In the
We're not going down that door that you're fixing to open.
Okay.
Back onto this.
Should have told me the news beforehand.
Dang it.
Should have told me the news.
so anyways,
I don't know. It's creaked. It's creaked open. I see
Yeah,
it.
we're
I see it
closing
crack.
it. So Josh Boone, who is directing The Stand, he did the New Mutants, and I don't know if anybody's got a chance to watch it yet. Don't.
Is it out yet?
Yes,
Did it come out?
maybe.
They've delayed it so many times.
I might need to check.
Hold on.
So, I've seen it. We'll just leave it at that.
That's
Right?
totally fine.
But I will say, no, it was a bag of trash. I was not impressed with that whatsoever.
Did you expect it to not
The
be?
trailer looked exciting.
Yeah. That was the movie.
That was it. And then I watched the film, and I'm like, this was garbage. I didn't like it whatsoever. And one character, I mean, Magic, she was awesome. Like, she was great.
They cast it well.
Yeah.
Like you said, the trailer looks good for
but,
it. But
man,
you're
and
talking about a movie when Fox probably knew what was coming down the line. So it's like,
Yeah.
just hurry up and put it out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely what they did.
That's what I was
So-
expecting with it.
Knowing Josh handled the New Mutants, I'm a little skeptical now on The Stand. I wasn't before. Now I am, but we'll see. I mean, you got
What's the stand being released on? Who's
CBS.
CBS?
CBS,
Okay.
yep, as a miniseries. So it's still gonna be pretty cool. I thought you'd like that, Mark.
I did. Yeah. the idea
Ezra
that-
Miller.
I actually thought that was out already, but it's not.
No,
So,
no.
I
So,
just saw some kind of quick blip on Facebook about it. One of those little
Yeah,
promo
yeah.
things, but
right, yeah, because they've released like the full one full trailer, then like 2 or 3 TV spots,
yeah, something like that. It's like little
nothing major.
teasers.
Another quick piece of news as far as a release goes for December. Announced today, Wonder Woman 1984 will hit theaters and HBO Max for no additional cost
wow.
on Christmas. And I'm
Wow.
telling you, that right there, that no additional cost, HBO,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, that was them punching Disney in the gut. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when Milan came out, Milan was
Yeah, that.
go see it in theaters
It
or
was
you
like
can
$35,
30 bucks.
30 some,
Gosh.
yeah, 30 some dollars. Yeah.
So I'm gonna pay my $10 a month, whatever subscription, and then 30 on top of it to see Mulan,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
garbage anyways. HBO Max is like, Warner Brothers like, no extra cost. You're paying a subscription, you get the movie. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like really, really cool. So
Which will be
and-
great if they can
and,
continue to back that up.
But
Yeah. Because it looks
and,
great.
and not to bad mouth my own company, but I
Yeah.
wish they would get. I wish they would get it on the Roku. They still don't have HBO Max on Roku.
Yeah.
And I get HBO Max for free.
Really?
Boys get it for
Oh,
free.
well, that's not fair.
I get it for free.
Oh, yeah.
But I think if you have HBO, you get it for free. On like if you subscribe to HBO, you get it for free.
I think I can get
Huh.
HBO through Hulu or something like that.
Yeah.
Is it-
I mean,
I think through
we
Hulu
get
you can get HBO.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I know because I know I got to
um,
find a way to do it, especially for all the for the next seasons of the DC Universe stuff on it comes out
Exactly,
like Titans.
you know,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
Like, I need to get it.
I'm,
before
I'm
then.
fine. Yeah, I can watch it on my PC or on my iPad, but I'd rather see it on my big screen TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
and it's,
I
and
agree.
it's Roku. Mine is Roku, and it's not available.
And I hate to say
So
it right now, but
disappointed
I
about
would
that.
much rather just watch a movie in my house, on my TV,
Yeah.
in my chair. I don't need to go to a theater again. I really don't. Maybe for some big, huge production.
Like it's got to be something special I want to
it
see.
really would have
like
to be.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
Gotta be theaters.
absolutely.
But if I want to go
Well,
see
like
Wonder
right
Woman
now,
84, I'll watch it at home.
I'll watch it at home.
Yeah. Right now, Flash Gordon. Was tonight. I missed it. They had it's the anniversary of Flash Gordon.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Flash.
it was at the theaters, and I wanted to go see it. Yeah, exactly. So
So good.
that was something I wanted. I just never got to it because you'd have, like you guys said, you have to get up and kind of plan to
Yep.
go to the
Yeah.
movies nowadays. You can't just
And
on a whim go anymore.
That's
you
kind
know,
of the kick
so-
in the gut now is like a lot of these theaters are doing the retro kind of things, and I love it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you still kind of,
Yeah,
I still don't really want to go to a theater.
The only way I
It's
would
like-
want to do it because I'm like Justin McLean sharing a lot of those. There's a
Yeah.
theater in his area that's doing that. Is the drive-ins.
Yeah.
all
I
the
would
drive-ins.
totally
Well,
go
the,
do
you know,
the
the,
retros
the
there.
bad part is you kind of can't have your cake and eat it too in those situations because I agree with you. Sitting at home, kick back and relax, watching a new movie coming out
Yep.
is great. but still those movies, we went and seen the 33 King Kong.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That was an
Yeah,
experience
and that was
and a
great.
half.
But that
It
stuff will
was.
be out in the future if it goes the way it looks like.
Oh
it's
yeah,
going.
well yeah, you're talking
Yeah.
about the death of
Yeah.
Hollywood at that point.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
it keeps going,
it's
but
going bad.
but back on that drive-in you were talking about, I had a friend of mine that went and watched Christine in the drive-in.
That would have been
Ooh.
awesome.
Do you know how I was just? It was too far for me to drive because he was even like, "Who wants to
Yeah.
go with me?" And I'm like,
Oh
me.
man.
like 3 hours? No."
I messaged Mark. If I didn't find out so late in time, we would have made the drive to Ocala, Florida, because last month they did 3 Godzilla movies. They did.
Oh,
They did. I
Yes.
think Ghidorah, Destroy All Monsters, and Megalon
Yes.
at
I
a
believe
drive-in.
That
in
would have been
Ocala.
worth it.
And that's my hometown. That's where I'm
Yeah.
from. I'm like,
that
dude.
totally would have been worth
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like it was like when I finally actually found out about it, it was in like 2 days. You know,
Well,
it's
a month ago, we should all three got together at the Cinemall over at Abington because they were playing an awesome throwback action movie. It was RoboCop.
oh yeah,
And,
that's what
we
we
should
should
have went and
We
watched
should have
that
taken Mark
up on
to
the
do it.
big
Yeah,
screen
yeah,
and really got
yeah.
that feel that you missed out.
Yep.
I'm
Yes.
glad Charlie is here tonight. Yes. So
Yeah.
I told you
Yeah.
the action movie guys here.
Yeah, and you would, the brain dead character, that remembered everything that was going on with his wife and family. So.
hey, he didn't remember. He had to gain that memory
He had
back.
to gain it.
With
He had-
what? With what?
With
He got the
God.
back of his head blew off. There's nothing there. Somebody shoved some cotton in there. He'll be all right.
He'd be good.
We don't need to keep rehashing that. I think you made an
I
excellent
will.
comment on
I
that
will,
last
yeah.
week.
I did.
Yeah.
You watched
I
the
will
wrong
say this
cut.
in
You
defense. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something in defense of Mark, and I don't think that Mark judged him on this. But I've never seen Peter Weller as a good guy. To me, he'd make a far better villain in every movie that he's ever done than a good guy. For me, that's just
Man,
my-
really?
Really?
Yeah.
See,
I
can't see
I'd
that.
rather see him as a villain. So
Of
when I
unknown
see
origin,
RoboCop,
I love
yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Buckaroo
Texas got great people
Banzai,
down there.
Screamers.
screamers.
I'm sorry, man. I just
Don't judge
I
us
just-
on the
I
special effects
just
and
don't,
screaming.
I'm like, you know what? I'd rather see him. He's just got that villain face to me.
Now,
You know,
I
don't know what
think
it is.
his later days, he definitely did. Because, I mean, like, when
Yeah.
you look at, Star Trek,
Oh, he was a great villain in that.
phenomenal
Oh
villain.
my god.
So good.
and yeah, and maybe that's why I have those, those movies in mind. So I'm like, he did so great there that I'm penalizing him for his earlier stuff.
Well, I think
Oh,
he's
that could be what it is.
superimposing Peter Weller over top of, and I can't think of the guy's name, but Zed from Pulp Fiction and the villain in The Mask.
Oh,
He
yeah.
kind of has that Peter Weller
he does.
build
I can't think of the actor's
face.
name.
I can't
And-
either.
and-
But it's
and
like
you're
maybe,
right.
I think
It's
Ruben's
just that face.
superimposing this guy because that guy made a good villain in
He did.
several movies.
Definitely.
And he's that. If you looked at him real fast, you went, "Oh, is that Peter Weller?"
right.
No,
yep.
no, it's
Yeah.
not. It's totally
Yeah.
Zed's dead, man.
I
Yeah.
love Weller.
It could be all subconscious, this whole time that Mark was taking all this heat. I just let him sink,
Mark's like,
I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything.
I
said,
didn't
"You
know
what?
we had to take
I'm gonna say
sides
something."
today. I don't know.
Yeah.
They've been.
But then I
on
said, you know what?
RoboCop.
Mark, it sounded like Mark was getting ganged up on over there. I said, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna speak
That's
up
right.
on Mark's behalf.
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Charlie's not going to be here after next week.
This-
Sludge,
this
is-
just
it'll
you,
be-
brother.
This is my
Titanic,
first and
Godzilla,
last
Spider-Man
appearance on the show. Appreciate it, guys. I don't even know if my part will air.
Charlie's
Right.
going to be reoccurring now.
Oh yeah.
Just so I'm not alone.
Oh,
All right, so Wonder Woman 84 is going to be coming out to HBO Max and theaters Christmas Day, which is absolutely awesome because that's going to be a fun movie. Last bit of news, and we'll jump right in the movie. It was revealed last week the awesome team behind Shin Godzilla. So you've got Shinji Hijiki and then Hideki Anno, who's the team behind the Attack on Titans live action films. They did Shin Godzilla, the Evangelion team. They are doing Shin Ultraman. So they're kind of doing what they did with Shin Godzilla, but with Ultraman.
nice.
And they
I
released.
did hear about that.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I did hear
so stoked about this because I love Ultraman. And then they released. They did a man-sized statue of Shin Ultraman in his design. Looks so true to the original. Doesn't have the color counter, which is great because that hopefully means no 3-minute, time limit, on his form fighting monsters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I'm super stoked because I don't think you can have a better team behind a recreation other than those two because of what they've done with Shin Godzilla, Attack on Titan. Evangelion is absolutely amazing. So super stoked, but they did announce that it will be coming out by summer of next year. So we'll be getting it pretty soon. So hopefully some trailer soon.
Cool.
So because big Ultraman fan in the house, obviously, of course, my youngest son is a huge fanatic. And then, one last piece too, just real quick. Peter Stormare took the Twitter yesterday with a picture of himself as the devil from Constantine, and all it said at the bottom, sequel in the works.
I have seen the little rumors and drops about Keanu's even kind of dropped some hints that the sequel's coming,
which would be great because I love Keanu. But
that's a great movie.
It's so good. But I love Keanu in it, but I'm a bigger Peter Stormare fan. There's nothing that man has done that I just haven't just fallen in love with. I love
that interpretation of Satan, Lucifer, whatever you wanted to call him in that was just perfect. The oily, dripping, sleazy guy.
Because as we know the who he is, we know he's evil, he's dirty.
Yep.
But he also wants to be light and tempting.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that perfect dirty look, but then that comedic, made you laugh demeanor.
Yes.
Yeah, he depicted who we imagined him to be perfectly. The only one that comes close, I think, would be like Ray Wise, and when he did him in the Reaper show that Kevin Smith started.
Yes.
And but that's pretty cool if they're doing another Constantine. Super stoked because
I'm down.
We also know Abrams is working on a Justice League Dark movie with obviously Constantine leads the team. So does that mean we're going to get Keanu as Constantine? That would be cool.
We'll see how they do, but there is a different Constantine in the DC.
Yeah, and he does great too.
Yeah, he does, but he's the
really
more
good.
comic book.
Yeah, he's definitely more
correct
comic
one.
actor.
He's the blonde haired, version of Constantine. The Keanu, well, they just went darker with it.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. Can't wait to hear about that. So, all right, let's jump into it. Deep Rising, 1998, the year that boats sink. Sometimes it takes an hour to see it, sometimes it takes a lifetime, but it happened in 1998. January 1998. Stephen Sommers, who great director. Most people probably know him from the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser. Did a monster movie called Deep Rising. Super simple. To him, when he did this movie, was a throwback to the 80s monster movie films.
Yes,
it's really what this was. Tons of just great action, great amount of comedy, and just bloody monster action. Super fun. So the movie starts off with a cruise ship called the Argonautica that is been made by a character named Canton, who has spent his life savings and his whole career building this perfect, biggest cruise ship, casino cruise ship type deal.
Excess on water.
Absolutely. It's all it is. And and so they're celebrating the maiden voyage of the Argonautica. And while this is going on, the main character, played by none other than Treat Williams, who is absolutely awesome. He's like a one-liner action king, I think. Like most people would probably remember him from like Substitute.
Yeah.
Which is another phenomenal movie. But he plays Finnegan, the main character in this one. He is on his ship. He's like a mercenary for hire with his partner, Joey, who's played by Kevin O'Connor, who people probably would remember from the Mummy movie. He played Benny in the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser. And they're taking a team of bad guys, mercenaries.
Yeah, mercs.
To some unknown location, which happens to be the cruise ship that they're heading to. And of course, the Mercs is a great team. I mean, we've got Wes Studi, who most people know from like Geronimo, Last of the Mohicans. He was in Dances with Wolves. He was in that amazingly horrible movie Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Played Scott in that. You got him. You've got Drew Goddard, who is that Drew?
Trevor Goddard.
Trevor Goddard.
Kano.
Kano from Mortal Kombat. He's in it. On the team, you've got Cliff. What's his last? I can't think of his last. Cliff. Y'all help me here.
Cliff Curtis.
Cliff Curtis, and he went on to a lot of big roles. I mean, he was in Live Free or Die Hard. Great actor. So just an awesome team of familiar faces that you'll see, and they're all heading here to sink this ship. Is what the goal is. And as they're on their way to the ship to sink it, the ship's attacked, not Finnegan's boat, but the big cruise ship, the Argonautica, by an underwater creature that they don't call it in the movie, but they call it after the movie. You find out it's called the Oculus, which is this giant octopus-like creature. Each tentacle is its own living creature with a mouth of just nastiness at the end. All comes up to one big, massive monster. That's absolutely one of the best, I think, monster designs I've seen.
Yeah,
It's just super
Predator
amazing.
on steroids.
Oh, absolutely.
Each one of those tentacles.
That's what my wife was like. Well, what's this monster like? I'm like, imagine the Predator on a tentacle. Like that's what you're getting. And so it's attacked, and by the time that they make it to the boat or to the cruise ship, everyone's gone. Everyone's been killed. Yep. And they need to find out what's happening because they were supposed to sink the ship. You come to find out that Canton, in the movie, the guy who made the ship, realized that it would cost too much to run it. Then they would make no money. So he's going to sink it and get the insurance money.
Yep.
Plan goes south because it is just loaded down with these tentacled creatures, and they have to make it out alive, which not many of them do. We may get another introduction to a great actress. It wasn't her first movie. She was a Bond girl with Peter Brosnan, but Famke Janssen is in this. She plays Trillian, she does a great job. Actually, I love it. She's so good in this movie. But so they end up having to all team up together to try and make it out alive, and just an hour of just awesome monster action and great one-liners and perfect comedy. People getting picked off left and right, and all you got left at the end is Finnegan and Trillian, and they get off the boat and make it to an island. And then they find out Joey is still alive because you think he died. Actually, my wife, when it comes to the part where you think Joey dies, because Kevin O'Connor, who plays Joey, is the major comedic relief in the movie. Just the most lovable character.
He is the cherry on top in this movie.
He really is.
He is.
He absolutely is.
And I don't know if you're going to go to it, but there's a funny thing about her wanting him to survive that. There's a story to that.
Well, we'll have to get into that then here in a minute. But so Joey ends up making it on the island, and then of course Treat Williams throughout the movie has the awesome one-liner of "Now what?"
Now what?
And as they're on the island, you hear this massive roar and all these trees flying up, and you hear him in the movie with, "Now what?" Just super great movie. It was just absolute fun. Unfortunately, this was a major bomb. $45 million budget. Mainly because of the special effects on this one, because the actors didn't cost that much. But I mean, you had a great special effects team between Industrial Light and Magic, who handled most of the CGI, and Rob Bottin, who did the creature design and special effects directing for the film. I feel like Rob gets forgotten a lot, because when everybody thinks about the 80s and 90s, you're always Stan Winston, you're Rick Baker, but Rob Bottin gets missed. I mean, The Howling, was super amazing. Rob Bottin was just the thing. I mean, we have some of the best special effects from this dude, and he does a great job in this as well. But it bombed, man. Did $11 million in the box office. Did not do good, which really stinks, because this was a planned actual prequel to a bigger movie that Steven Sommers wanted to do that he didn't get a chance to make because this one bombed. The island at the end is very key to that. And we'll get into that, of course, here in just a minute. But it ended up finding its home, like most movies like this, on home video.
Yes.
And has since then become a cult classic film. Super, super great movie. Actually, we'll go ahead and talk about what it was supposed to be, because we'll get into what we like. But Steven Sommers at the time was fighting tooth and nail to do the next King Kong film. He was wanting to do a King Kong remake. And the island they land on at the end is none other than Skull Island. And they were going to be the main characters, Joey and Finnegan and Trillian, for the Kong film. Yep. But because this tanked, that never happened, unfortunately. Well, that would have been awesome, though.
And goes unknown to most people that's seen this movie.
Yeah, most people have no idea. I was telling my wife, she's like, really? She's, well, that kind of makes sense. Because she even said something to me, like, at the end of the movie, she's like, is that the island King Kong's on? I said, funny enough, let me tell you. And
funny,
she's like,
you should say that.
She's like, wow. She's like, I could see that. That would be really cool. So, great movie, man. Super fun. Of course, it's great monsters. The monsters in this are just, I mean, it's one monster with many other tiny monsters attached to him, I guess.
That you don't know that.
Not till the end.
The climax at the end.
Reveal. Most of the time, you think there's just these tentacled lamprey type deals. And it's
kind of
funny,
like little snake things, like worms or something.
He calls them part of the Atoya family.
Yes.
Canton does.
He gives it like an existence or something based on like a smaller species.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny and it was just one of the things too, and I'll get into it in a minute, is, well, I'll get to the Atoyas, because that's one of the few, very, very few dislikes I had in this film. But so yeah, let's jump into what we liked, didn't like. I think Mark went first last time. Ruben, you're up, man.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Ruben
No,
did.
I went first last time.
Oh, then Mark, you're up.
Somebody else gets a shot.
Oh, well, it's not RoboCop.
So it's not that good.
So
That's what he's saying.
So I really liked it. So,
Oh.
just playing. All right, get off me. I just had to throw it in there. Hey, I thought it was a great movie. The acting, I thought, was surprisingly better than what I anticipated when I first started watching it. You know, the guys really were believable. You know, and the movie, you know, for a monster movie, was believable. What was going on? You know, I definitely enjoyed it from start to finish. I thought the acting was good. I thought the special effects was really good.
Oh yeah,
enjoyed it. With the exception of, you know, Charlie bringing up, and he'll talk about the ship.
Yeah.
And I agree with what he was talking about. And so I think overall, kind of surprised it didn't make the money at the box office that you would think that it would make. And so it was overall, to me, it was a thumbs up. Good movie, good characters, and Treat Williams. I mean, he's just enjoyable to watch. I mean,
he is.
You can't go wrong with Treat.
Oh, without a doubt.
He steals the show. I mean, every
without a
scene
doubt.
he's on. I mean, when they're kicking, when the guys are beating up Joey because Joey goes in and checks the cargo hold,
and Joey's great too.
Oh,
Joey
yeah,
is fantastic.
perfect. But when he's like, when he's got the spear gun, shoots in the wall, he's like, can't kill my engine man. And he's like, all right, so one more time for the hearing impaired, and just goes to town on him. I'm like, dude,
Yep.
like,
very good, very good. And
that's a year off my life.
And so, I mean, it was.
So
I thought the only thing that probably I disliked down towards the end is they kind of threw in a character would disappear. What's her name?
Famke?
Trillian.
You know, she kind of disappears, and he's like, "Well, I don't think she made it." And then the next thing you know, Joey disappears, and they get to the island, and so she's thinking Joey didn't make it, you know, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of maybe one or two times too many on that,
right?
Kind of deal. But other than that, I give it a thumbs up, man. It was a great and good movie.
Ruben,
Awesome.
All right. Well, just as a disclaimer, I gave it the lowest rating of all four of us,
he
but
did.
not by much.
No, not by
I
much.
did.
That's true.
All
Not by
four
much.
of us, but not by much. And the only reason I gave it a lower rating than the rest of the guys, is because you guys have heard me say this before. Okay, this movie was a little hard for me to rate because I didn't know whether to rate it as a horror movie or a monster movie or an action film. Okay, so like I'm saying, all right, so is this as good as Alien? Because this formula was pretty much Alien on water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm like, so I said, so Alien's a 5. We all know that. And then I'm like, so no, so it can't be a 5, And so I tried to rate it off of Alien. And really, it was really hard for me to find a monster movie with this, because it had so much action in it. So it reminded me more of Predator and Alien. And you mentioned it earlier that it was an homage to these 80s action films, so it was more like, like Predator or Alien or, Anaconda is another one that comes to mind. Tremors is another one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I could see the
It was
Tremors.
it was along that, it had the feel of like Tremors. So, I'm like, okay, well, those movies, like I love Tremors. I don't know about you guys. So I'm like, okay,
huge
so-
fan.
We just finished watching all 7 with my son. He first got introduced to them, and we watched the Kevin Bacon one. And I bought the 6 DVD collection.
Yeah.
And every night, Dad, we got to watch Tremors. Well, I didn't tell him number 7 was on Netflix yet. So we got all the way through 6, and he's like, "That was awesome." I said, "Yeah, there's one more." It's like, so we watched the last one.
Oh, did it
And
break his heart?
It kind of did. He was a little down, but he's still riding that high because he just experienced it in like a week of everything Tremors. What took us 20 plus years to enjoy.
Yeah.
He got it all in 6 days, and he's just in awe. I mean, even the 4th one that Is it the fourth one
Fourth
where they
one.
go back in the West?
Yeah.
I didn't even sit in the room and watch that one.
That's the one I don't have.
I was doing the prep for the podcast, and I was like, "Good luck," and they were like, "We know what you're talking about," but it was still pretty good.
Yeah. So you know, when I hold it up against those, well, then that lowered my rating to where I gave it. Okay, but that being said, I even sent a text to Sludge and said, "Man, I really liked this movie. I really enjoyed it.
You did,
It's a real fun movie. Yeah, I did. I said, you know, I really liked it. You know, the acting was above average. You know, my expectations, I think Mark mentioned it before, were low. Okay.
When you look at the cast, you kind of unintentionally. I mean, well, Treat's a good actor. But Treat never had super big blockbuster films. You know, Kevin O'Connor. I mean, he's a great actor too. But like, if he's in a blockbuster film like The Mummy, it's a small role. So everyone else, Wes Studi,
and all that's after
Trevor,
this, you
know.
know.
You know, even Famke. I mean, they're, you know,
This was a packed cast before they were anything.
Yeah.
I mean, even one of the Mercs is a character from the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Dijon, I'm not going to mess up his last name.
Oh,
the big bald black
African guy.
Yeah.
And
I
can't pronounce his name.
I won't. But you know, you're sitting there going, "Well, dude, that guy was in Guardians," and then Captain Marvel or whatever. You know,
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. And you see all these people, and it's funny when I started watching. I'm like, hey, I know all these people, but they were doing this movie before. You know, before she was Jean Grey, she was in this.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
my wife was like,
man,
"What? She's got a big role. What role was it?" I'm like, X-Men. She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, Jean Grey, all the way.
Yeah, it's Jean Grey. I mean, and so as I'm watching, the actors actually kind of like, hey, wait a minute, you know, my expectations were wrong because these are all good actors that have, you know, they have, you know, they're good in the movies I've seen them. So obviously they got good acting chops because they're good. So as I'm watching this movie, I mean, the special effects for 1998, I think weren't bad. They weren't the best, but they weren't bad at all.
They were better than some of Titanic.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you know, so man, well, I'm not gonna hold it up to Titanic. so many Oscars.
Yeah, this is better,
you know, for Titanic.
Yeah, he did bring that up again.
We didn't get Celine Dion for
he
this
did bring
one,
it
I'm
up
sorry.
again.
That's what hurt it.
That's really what hurt it.
No, there was no Canada involved. So I mean, that's what it was lacking.
So as I'm watching this movie, I mean, it follows a formula. It's very predictable, and it's kind of laughable at times, like guns that never run out of ammunition.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah! Not only never run out of ammunition,
I mean,
they never change a clip.
No,
ever.
They never have to change the clip. You know, I can buy they're waterproof, and you can dive underwater with them and come up, and they still work. It's just as good as ever, but not really. I mean, I'm sure they're made that the way, but
when he's describing the gun, he says it's 1,000-round capacity. And you're sitting there going, of 22s?
Yeah.
What's holding 1,000? Where's the backpack?
We're helping you understand that we're never changing clips.
Well, what's about to happen?
Yeah,
exactly.
We're setting you up for the disbelief.
And not to beat a dead horse, but when that guy gets spit out and 3/4 of his head is gone and he's still alive,
RoboCop.
It reminded me of why Mark did not believe that
Thank you,
RoboCop
Ruben.
was a good movie.
Thank you, Ruben.
As soon as they spit him out and he's standing there, and I'm not lying for every of you that haven't seen this movie. 3/4 of his head is gone.
No,
and Mark liked this one. Mark, what's up, man?
I did because of the monster.
3/4 of his head has been, I guess, the acid ate away his head, but just his head. The rest of his body is there. Some of his hands are gone, but just his head just eaten away. I'm like, well, what happened there? Why didn't the acid eat away the whole rest of the body? You know, maybe his clothes protected him. I don't know.
That's Ruben's hung up on that part. Where Stephen Summers actually named him the half-digested Billy when he refers to that scene. He goes, "Oh yeah, the half-digested Billy scene." You know, so he named what that looked like at that part of the movie.
So, but at the same time, this movie doesn't take. This is a true B movie. I don't know if
Yes.
you guys agree with me. But
B movie
this
with
is
an
a
A movie
true
budget.
B movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a B movie. So if you love B movies, you're gonna love this one because, I bring up all these. They're not really defects. I just bring up these things. I find them funny, and it was what makes the movie good. It's a movie that doesn't take itself seriously. This is, when he made this movie, he says, this is what I'm doing, and I don't care what people think. And those are the ones that end up being cult classics.
Yep.
And when you think about it,
Exactly.
the ones that they end up being the cult classics because they don't take themselves seriously. And, I don't care what you think about it. I'm not out to win an Oscar. I'm not out to win a Golden Globe. I'm just going to make a movie that action fans and horror fans alike are going to like and enjoy sitting and watching. Maybe not in the theater, but down the road. You're gonna
Actually,
and sure enough, go ahead.
I actually went theaters on this one. I went to the theaters. My grandmother took me.
Did you?
Pretty sure.
I got a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Was that 97, 98?
98.
I was 18, so I went and watched this
Oh,
in
yeah.
theaters.
Well, my grandmother was
Damn.
the first movie she took me to see in theaters. I talked her into taking me. Was MTV's Joe's Apartment.
Oh,
Yeah. So my grandmother, that was an experience and a half.
yeah.
And so after that, she's like, we're not doing theaters anymore. And so then Deep Rising comes out. And I'm like, hey, and I talked my Nana, my great grandmother, my grandmother's mom into it. And because me and Nana, we had a thing back in the day where we would like sneak out to the video store and rent like Chud. We first watched it together. That was me and Nana's thing, was watching her scary stories is what she'd call them. Because she never called movies. They were always moving pictures or stories. Because she's from that generation. She was around before TV was around.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so that was what we did.
Yeah.
So me and Nana were like, Mom, my grandmother, like, take us, let's go see this. So she did. And with the amount of language in it, she was furious.
Oh,
she was like, you took me to see the stupid Roach movie, and then you take me to see this. Of course, me and Nana had a blast with it. We loved it.
Yeah.
So sorry,
Yeah.
Ruben, go ahead.
No problem. I just, in fact, just hearing that, in 1998, it was exact opposite. I don't think I saw any movies in 1998 because Cindy was pregnant with RJ.
Oh, you bet you saw
Yeah.
King Kong Lives in
Oh,
1998.
Oh no, that was not 98.
Well,
That
I
was
know, but I'm saying you made sure and watch that movie that year.
1992 was that's my honeymoon movie right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait,
that's
which-
what-
yeah,
Was it
was.
Ballante? What was the
Yeah.
one that was when Ruben was born?
When RJ was born,
RJ was
it
born, yeah.
Violante on VHS.
Ballante,
Yeah,
that's
that was
right.
the
That's
movie.
right. I got it
Yeah.
backwards.
There was
Not Kong, it was
Ballante.
Ballante.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Violante in the not the whatever that room they put us in that was all modern with a VHS. Had a VCR
Yeah, top of the line at the time.
for your comfort. And City still says, yeah, they put all this creature comforts, and I'm going through all this pain. And I don't know if I ever mentioned to you, but I purposely did that. She was going through labor, and she had a hard time. By the way, they induced, and it was a long drawn out deal. Anyway, but I would complain to her and say, this chair is very uncomfortable, and I don't see they should at least invest money in better chairs. She was, she was just going on and on, and it was like, I slept there with her, but the chair turned into a bed, so it really wasn't comfortable. But compared to what she was going through, and I know that, but I was giving her the business anyway. She didn't appreciate it. at the time.
You're a brave man.
She still doesn't. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. And so in 98, I didn't get to see many movies, was the bottom line. So this one slipped right by me. And I love those kind of movies. Action movies, all of us here in this group, action, sci-fi, horror movies are that's just my entire catalog of movies that I have on Blu-ray and DVD and VHS are that. I do own Titanic on VHS because my wife. Okay, yes. I'm just gonna disclaim that right there.
Yeah.
All right.
He's blaming Cindy. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
She's in the background going, "You liar."
Yeah. So and Titanic, and I remember going to see Titanic, but I don't remember her being pregnant. What year did Titanic come out in?
Same year.
You said 98?
Yep, same year.
I know we went to see it, but I just don't remember her being pregnant.
Man, I mean,
Maybe
with that movie, it didn't matter. If it was a woman, she could have been 9 months to the day. I'm going to the theaters to see Titanic.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I just don't
Yeah.
remember, but so I didn't see many movies. in
I'll
high
take
school,
my
but
walker and colostomy
Yeah.
bag. I'm going to see
yeah,
Titanic.
and she
the way they
and
work.
we did. So, but this movie's a lot of fun. I mean, for all the dislikes that I had, it's really just part of the B movie experience. It's what I call it.
Yeah.
Like the endless ammo and the half-eaten guy and the cheesy one-liners and even I swear to you, I that scene where they jet ski out of there.
Oh my god!
I'm like, you know what? They just get out. That's what. If you ever played Resident Evil 4, they just ripped off Deep Rising.
That's what they did. That's exactly what they did.
Resident Evil 4 is just like that. And I'm like, Resident Evil 4 just ripped this movie off. So
They knew.
Gamers out there.
They were in
You
Japan
gamers
going, "How do
out
we
there.
end this best? Deep Rising." That's
Yeah.
what there's some.
Deep
They were
Rising.
watching it, making it.
Go through the DVDs, guys. Let's find something.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. I mean, they're going through that. I'm like, this is the final stage of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
It's exactly.
That literally was.
This is it was. And I'm like, I can't believe this. And so that being said, if it's good enough to get ripped off by Resident Evil 4, the Resident Evil franchise, it is worth a look.
Oh,
The only reason I didn't give it a higher rating, and I didn't give it a bad rating, was because
No, you didn't.
No,
I
not at
don't
all.
like it. I don't like to give credit when you have something like Alien and Tremors and movies like that up front that deserve fives. In my mind, it lessens that 5 a little bit. So I always take that into consideration. So for the record, I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah, which is still good.
So-
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
you did
it's
good.
still good. I really, really enjoyed it. It's definitely on my, I'd watch it again. If I saw it at, if it released on Blu-ray, I'd add it to my collection.
I believe it is on Blu-ray.
Yep, it is.
It's on Blu-ray.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
so-
This was your first
It-
watching of this, wasn't it, Ruben?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I've never seen this before, and I really liked it. I'm like, hey, the expectation was low, but coming out of that movie, I said, this is a great movie, and I love the ending.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
it's
yeah.
a cliffhanger,
That's-
and we never got a sequel. But I love the ending because it's just a perfect ending to one of these movies, and it did leave you wanting more. I'm like, man, I would have liked to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want to hear now what
yeah.
20 more times. Like,
Yeah.
let's keep
Now
going.
what?
Now
what?
yeah. So all in all, it's above action. It had above average. The action was great. I want to make sure I have all my notes here that I got everything I talked about. But yeah, I mean, it was great.
Charlie, what about you, man?
Oh, man, how much time we got?
Guest of honor here.
Oh, man. Ruben was making some really good points on how do you look at this movie as a monster movie, an action movie,
Mhm.
a horror movie,
Yeah.
because it starts out as an action flick.
Yep.
You've got
Yeah.
your guys smuggling mercenaries. Then you get on this,
Yeah.
ship with everyone like gambling and a casino and all this other stuff. So you're very reminiscent of like that scene in Indiana Jones, Temple
Yes.
of Doom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just this
Perfect. Yeah.
fantastic backdrop. And then you get onto the boat and all of a sudden you're on Ghost Ship,
Yeah.
is how that
Yeah.
started out. You're like, where is everyone? And I kind of put a thought in my head with Steven Sommers, because he wrote this movie. He
Yeah.
wrote and directed
Yes.
it. And I like to imagine he was sitting there one day watching Under Siege with Steven Seagal and going,
Oh yeah.
this is a great movie, but you know what it's missing? A giant kraken
Yeah,
reaching up and grabbing the
exactly.
ship. And, I'm going to write that, because that's what
Yeah.
this is. This is Under Siege with a monster.
See,
in it.
now I want this movie with
Yeah.
Steven Seagal, and I want to see Steven
Yeah.
Seagal manhandling the
Oh, yeah.
Oculus
Oh,
at
yeah.
this point. That'd be
Well,
great.
not a drop on him. He doesn't get hurt.
No,
There's no
no.
blood, no nothing on
Never
him.
even gets wet.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no.
Stays dry.
He somehow a samurai sword comes out and he's just
Yeah.
slicing off the heads. But no, that's
Hey.
but
and he doesn't get to say something like, "You guys think you're above the law."
I think you're above the water line. But this was also one of those movies that when me and Sludge were talking about what, we had like a list of movies to pick, and it was like, Deep Rising. And I think we had even talked about it a couple times before, hey, would you be interested? And I'm like, well, yeah, if we do Deep Rising, because it is a action monster movie. Yeah. It has its own category as far as I'm concerned. This is right in vein with the Deep Risings and the Leviathans, those kind of movies that were more creature, but this one just gave us more action,
because it's once it starts, it doesn't stop.
No, this is a non-stop, just thrill ride. It's like being on a roller coaster the entire time.
It makes really that jet ski scene just icing on the cake at the end.
It was, you believed it. You were like, oh, of course there's jet skis at the end to get away from the
Of course we're doing 50 miles an hour down
We're going to go down the same corridor 27 times.
Absolutely.
There's no bulkhead doors. We're fine. Just keep going. It's great.
And I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't come up with that Under Siege comparison. I'm really
You were so close. I'm sitting there going, please let me be the one that comes up with that. I'm the action movie guy. Come on. I need that correlation.
I could not think of one. Yeah. I'm like, man, when you said it, I'm like, how can I not? Under Siege, I've seen like 40 times.
Oh yeah. It can be on anytime in my shop.
Yeah. It's like, how can I have not thought of that? You just said it. I'm like, I cannot believe I didn't put it.
No, it was great. And I am a huge Treat Williams fan, and like Sludge knows, I just did an article about one of his movies,
Dead
Heat. God.
Great movie.
That was every bit of Treat Williams that you get in this movie too.
Yep.
Just the deadpan one-liners, just straight man kind of comedy. He's not comedian funny. He's just deadpan, deliver that line smooth.
Yeah.
And he actually got this role because Harrison Ford turned it down.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So they Steven wanted Harrison Ford, was that pretty much written for him. And Harrison turned it down, which would have been I am too. I don't know how I'd feel about Harrison Ford in a creature feature.
Yeah. I could probably deal with him in a creature feature. I don't think I could deal with him with the one-liners.
Not so much.
He wouldn't have,
because he doesn't really do it in any of his other ones.
No, his delivery wouldn't have been as brilliant as Treat's.
No, I think they nailed it with Treat, and then and we've talked about it already. The supporting cast is phenomenal, and they didn't know that at the time. These are people that they were not, the stars they are now. Exactly. I think it's funny. We're talking about Wes Studi for a second there, and Sludge is like, "Oh yeah, from Geronimo and all these other." I'm sitting there going, "He was the Sphinx from Mystery Men." So every time he talks, I hear him in that where he says something, but it's the reverse question version of it, like he talked in the movie, and I'm just like, "It's Sphinx." The whole time watching this thing, he's the bad guy,
and he really wasn't big at timing because before this. Dance with the Wolves.
Yes.
And then I don't think Geronimo was out yet.
Either Geronimo early 2000s?
I think so, because I think it was Last of the Mohicans came first, then Geronimo. So so like even Geronimo wasn't out yet. Mystery Men. So he still was relatively new because his roles in Dance with the Wolves and Last Mohicans wasn't huge roles.
No, he was not to touch on anything too sensitive, but he was the authentic Native American.
That's exactly that's exactly what I was going to say. He was and I don't want to belittle him. I'm like, well, how do I say this without me? But he was like, okay, we need somebody. Oh, let's say him.
That's pretty much what that was. And then the cherry of the movie, Kevin J. O'Connor is Joey.
Oh my gosh,
that guy! I don't think the movie would have been good without him in there.
No, absolutely.
And doing research on this, Stephen Summers had said that he ad-libbed a lot of his script.
Oh yeah.
So
the asthma line.
The asthma line kills me every time.
So
can you just get asthma, or do you have to be born with it?
that cracked my wife up.
Holy crap, that is fantastic.
And that was all off the whim. Yeah.
It was.
Most of his dialogue was off the whim.
I bust out laughing when he's trying to crack the peanut.
What do you got there? Peanut.
And this was before, Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean thing doing the whole peanut bit. So now it's even funnier because I'm like, oh yeah, the peanut thing. and he drops it, and it's so quiet. You hear the plunk.
Well, another one of his lines is in that same scene when they're talking about when Trevor, the guy that plays Kano.
Yeah, Kano.
He's like, "What? Where are they at? They didn't take the lifeboats." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. They freaked out, jumped overboard, and it's like, oh crap, we forgot the lifeboat. I guess we're just going to swim for it."
He smacks him upside the head, which was great because they kept playing off that because he goes, "What's that smell?" And he gets smacked in the back of the head. I didn't say it was you.
Brilliant, Kevin O'Connor. Yeah,
that guy. And I was telling you, they did test screenings and they killed Joey. When he dies, in that one scene, he was dead. He was done in the movie.
Did not know that.
And test screening audiences hated that part and wanted Joey back. So they reshot the part where he comes back on the water, which kind of makes sense because one of the things that after I've watched, I can't tell you how many times I've watched this movie. It's too many.
Yeah.
When Finnegan's boat explodes, there's all of a sudden a surfboard flying through the air at your face.
Yeah.
And you're going, well, that's just weird. And then all of a sudden it's relevant because that's what saves Joey's life. He goes,
because you never see the surfboard on that boat.
They never mention it. They don't say, hey, he loves surfing. No kind of,
no reference.
No backstory to it. Yeah. And all of a sudden he's saved by that damn surfboard is what he says.
Yeah.
And, so that's why the test screening audiences wanted Joey back alive.
I'm glad they made that
I think it was the smartest move they probably made on that. One of the detractors, and it was funny, I was watching this with my wife, and she's sitting there going, have I seen this? And I'm like, pretty sure, because I've probably watched it 50 times. And she loves creature features, Anaconda, Lake Placid, all those kind of things. I was like, so you've seen this. So she's watching and she goes, okay, I kind of remember this. And she can't get over Famke Janssen's white tank top
that never gets wet,
white the whole time.
Yeah,
it's no stains. It's barely wet. So, which I kind of get. Okay, they don't want the wet T-shirt look the whole time. Yeah, and even Famke even made mention in some interviews that she was like, "I'm tired of being the hot girl in the movies." And Steven Summers goes, well, when you're in a movie that you're not the love interest, you can dress however you want. But they were trying to just limit that and, make her powerful. But Jackie could not get over the fact that, her shirt's still clean. Yeah. Oh, the boat exploded and they're on an island. Look, there's no sand on it. And you're just, and now I can't stop looking at it.
They're on the boat getting ready to have his boat come into the thing. And she jumps into the bathroom. She's out in the rain.
Yep.
And it jumps in totally dry.
Totally clean.
Oh, yeah. Totally clean.
Just ready to go. And, speaking on the CG of this movie, which the creature, as far as CG, was really good.
Yeah.
I agree.
I really, and we talked about this earlier, Sludge, was watching things in 4K or higher hurts some of these movies. Cause I remember watching this on VHS, and that grittiness lends itself to how the CG should, that's what they expected us to see it as.
Yeah.
They can hide things. Now all of a sudden it's like polished, and the creature, when the first face comes out on it, when they do the big reveal, it's almost too shiny. But then they kill things like the first time we see the cruise boat through the night vision goggles, looks like they cut it out of a piece of paper and pasted it on the window. And it just struck me so hard because now I'm like, well, I'm getting ready to talk about this movie. I need to take notes. Holy crap, that is bad. That's really bad. And
thankfully it lasts 4 seconds.
It was 4 seconds, and everything else about the cruise ship was great. So I gave it a very high rating, but I do have a very few criticals about it. The ship being completely disabled, yet the radar to find the monster is still working.
Yeah,
working perfectly.
Because it's like
windshield wipers.
We're flying blind. We don't know where we are. Oh, there's a monster on its way, and it's counting it down. I'm like, dude, you just gotta stop counting. And then,
what was with that? I mean, you count down like from 5 or maybe 10. No, they count down from like 15.
Yeah, it was like 15, and they're both standing over his shoulder, looking at the same screen. Because, like, dude, I can read.
Yeah,
I don't need that to keep going.
I see it moving closer.
So you had that, and then it shows the creature coming up from the depths. The rotors are turning on the ship. It's supposed to be dead in the water, disabled.
Yeah.
And
I caught that too. I was like, what the heck was that? Why is the rotor still running?
Yeah, it's like, So, you get past that. Cause again, that's that fast pace of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
You've done
Yeah.
forgot that, okay, there was that. I got tired of the guy with the sexual, always looking for the girls.
Cliff Curtis's character.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. And I like that guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he would have made an awesome mercenary bad guy, but I couldn't, I was like, dude, you just got to stop.
Because it was a constant stick for him.
every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And then when he found the pictures, I'm just like, all right, man.
That's one of my one complaints of the film.
And
is
it
his
killed
character.
me the whole time just listening to him doing that. I was like, because man, I just did not like how they played that out. They could have been anything else, But yeah, those were my only negatives to this movie. Everything else, I love this movie. I love Half Digested Billy. It's fantastic when he drops out of that creature, and it's awesome because he turns and he's like, okay, yeah, he's messed up, and he turns his head and it's gone. I'm sorry,
gone.
Mark.
It's all right. It's all right.
But it was fantastic, and I was looking at my notes here just seeing if there was anything, because we've already talked about it being Skull Island. This was one point that there's no hero in this movie. There are no good guys in this movie.
Oh, yeah, they're all mercenaries.
No, they're all Treat is a smuggler who doesn't ask questions, so of course he's doing stuff not above board.
Yep.
There's mercenaries. There's the
even
guy.
Trillian, she's a criminal.
Yeah, she's a criminal. You have the guy that's sabotaging his own ship. The good guy is the captain,
Yeah, that's it.
and he gets sucked through a floor grate.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
man!
It's the level of gore in this movie is actually surprising. It really is, especially when they get to the lower decks.
Oh yeah,
That was like that transition from ghost ship to, guess what, guys? This is a monster horror movie.
Oh yeah,
And here it's just
that first hallway where all the bodies are. At that point, I'm like, I just golf clapped Rob Botton. You were a genius.
Exactly.
You were awesome.
It was to where they even make like Kevin J put his hand into it
Oh,
because he
yeah.
stumbles and it's now stuck to his hand like slime and everything.
Yes.
And yet again, Trillian's shirt is still white as can
Yeah,
be.
completely
It
clean.
does not get dirty at all.
And speaking of the gore, I don't know if this is the feeling I got with that. You spoke about that line about the asthma.
Yeah.
Like when he can't breathe, I'm like, something's going to happen to him. Something's going to pop out of his stomach like Alien. I really thought.
Okay, I can see where he's going with it. 'Cause, you're still at the thought that they're individual creatures attacking them. I mean, even how it's filmed. They're coming through the walls in different sections. They're coming down from a grate or from below.
Right. Because even when they come on board, the captain and the owner, they're everywhere. They're infested the ship. So when he said that line, can you just get asthma? I'm like, is something going to happen to him? Of course,
that just reminded me of
true.
one of the great, just shocking scenes in that is when they open the door and that axe comes flying down and cleaves the dude's head.
You didn't see that coming
And
at
I
all.
was not. There's still times when I watch the movie going, I forgot they did that.
Yeah, my wife was like, whoa. I'm like, oh yeah, he's dead, by the way.
Man, he's gone. And this movie just hits it on all notes for me. This is action. This is creature. This is Under Siege with tentacle monsters.
Yeah, perfect one-liners.
Great one-liners. Treat Williams should have done more action movies.
Yep.
What's wrong with Hollywood? How did you let that guy get away?
You shouldn't have.
There were so many movies you could have put him in easily, and he would have probably made some movies that didn't do well do better.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. They would have inserted him rather than somebody else.
Well, imagine him in some of the Nick Cage movies and stuff.
Exactly. I was like, or some of the movies where because as Steven Seagal got older, he got more out of shape and more, and heavier. It's quite a shame. Insert someone like this guy into it, and I know it's not martial arts, but it would have been great.
No, it would, but you could change that. I think a lot of movies with Seagal added martial arts because they had Seagal.
Because they had him. Because
they had him. There was a lot of movies they didn't have to
Marked
do that.
For Death. You mean you could have been treating that?
It could have been. What's the? It's not above the law. The other one where he's going after. William Forsythe.
Senator.
He's Nico, and he's going after. William Forsythe.
That's above the law.
Is that
Is it
above the
above
law? I thought that was the one with the
He's legal.
senator.
No, the one with the senator is oh man,
Out for justice.
The one with the senator out for justice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Out for justice.
Okay.
That's the one where they kill his family. They kill his family. And
He gets the coma and everything.
Yep. Yep.
But that one with William Forsythe, there's no reason to have martial arts.
No.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
you're
the
right.
bar scene, he kind of takes over the entire bar, but any kind of good brawl fight could have been put in there.
Yep.
You know, give him a partner. I mean, Treat Williams would have worked good with, I mean, you know, he worked great with Joe Piscopo, and that's a whole nother conversation
Oh
we
my
can
gosh,
have.
yes.
Yeah.
That I'm still mad at Hollywood for letting that guy go.
Yeah.
Both
I agree.
Joe, I mean, Treat and Joe both, especially Joe. Like,
Yes.
yeah, we can get that. Be a whole.
That's a whole.
Yeah.
We'll save
I
that
love
for
Joe.
the Give Me Back My Action Movie podcast that we're going to
do
do.
an episode on Dead
Yeah.
Heat or anything with Joe. I
there
want
we
to do it on that
go.
one.
Yeah, we're going to have Sludge on for that one. But
There you
I rated this one super high. I could talk another hour about this, but I think it's time to let Sludge give us what he
Man,
thought.
I mean, everyone hit good points on this one. I mean, it is. I mean, it is a love letter to 80s action monster movies.
Yes.
That is
Yep.
what it is. I mean, there is reminiscences of not just, I mean, we've mentioned Predator, we've mentioned Alien, we've mentioned Under Siege. They Live. I mean, I can't think of another
Yeah.
one-liner film other than They Live that I can compare this to. Because I mean, every time Treat delivers his one-liners, I got Roddy
it's
Piper in my head.
gold.
Yeah.
It's
It's
gold
just
every time.
Perfect. And you know, and he had great his one-liners are perfect. So's O'Connor's. I mean, everybody's. I mean, yeah, all these actors. This was before they were all big, and they were top notch. Man, they gave it their all.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
one time did I feel any actor was just like, I'm just doing this for a job. You know, what I mean, nobody was Ben Affleck from Paycheck in this.
No,
movie.
you got that's
You
a
know,
really good point. Everybody looked like they were having fun doing it, and
Yes.
probably had really good direction, because I think when a director writes a movie and it's his project,
he knows exactly
he
what he's
knows what
after.
he's
Yeah.
going after. And I think if you can, if you can direct people to do that, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and
he
Steven's great.
accomplished that.
I mean,
fantastic.
Such a great director. I mean, the monster design I think is one of the best and most unique ever. I mean,
yeah.
absolutely great. Even with the big reveal of the full Octolus, when he gets Treat wrapped up in one of the tentacles and comes out, it sounds terrifying, looks terrifying.
Yeah.
It is super good. I mean, my wife does not like action movies. She does not like creature films. You know, and so she sat down and watched this with me, and she was like, I love this movie. This was a really good movie. So then for someone who doesn't like these type of films, that tells you that's that good of a movie.
Oh, that says a lot.
It's just it's so much fun. When it starts, it doesn't stop all the way to the end. Literally, it starts and it doesn't stop until credit rolls, you know, and it's
Yes.
absolutely awesome. It keeps you entertained. It keeps it moving. The characters are really good. Even, I mean, and they're constantly, you know, going. Canton is great. You know, because you're like, oh, it's his ship. Oh, he wants to sink it. Oh, he's sending them down this corridor so he can go down this one so they can die and he can live. You know, I mean, he's always
you end up
turning.
hating him.
Yeah,
you want
can't
him to
stand
get
it. Oh,
eaten later.
And so it's absolutely great. Even the things that, you know, it's like, oh man, you know, the jet ski down, you know, the corridors, or maybe it's not the best CGI, or you know, the unlimited ammo, all that stuff just gets so easily overlooked. I got one for you.
Yeah.
If you go back through about 47 minutes into it, they're walking down the corridors. You got Famke and Treat leading the walk. They're standing there together walking down. And you won't hear anything because there's no dialogue, but if you pay attention, because it's just dark enough that if you don't pay attention, you'll miss it. Famke's talking the whole time.
Oh,
Her lips are actually moving and she's talking. I even had to show my wife. I'm like, watch this. She's like, she is talking, but there's nothing coming other than just sound effects.
I think that kind of. I was watching a movie, and I saw that, and I just kind of glazed over it. I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
but I'm like,
saying
that-
something, but
it was an editing mix.
it's an editing thing.
Yeah.
Well, Joey had a disappearing submachine gun.
Oh yeah.
He's holding
Oh,
it for
yeah.
a while. Then all of a sudden, the next scene, he has nothing. Then they're back on their boat, and he's got a machine gun. Now, not to mention, there was a machine gun in everyone's hand. I don't think they had that many machine guns.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone held that gun.
Everybody had one.
And the silver gun that was the guy that got cleaved in the head gets passed around to almost everyone.
Oh yeah. Famke's got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's
Yeah.
getting it at some point.
And then he empties it, but the slide doesn't lock back. You know, he
Oh, yeah.
shoots that
Yep.
last round at Joey and then tries to shoot himself. Well, the slide's not licked. So either it was a dud, or, we just forgot that prop gun doesn't actually function the way it's supposed to.
So I mean, there are errors in the film, but
Any film.
Yeah.
Go find a film. There's an error. in
Yeah.
it. Titanic has errors in it.
All the way through.
It's
that
like
movie.
3 hours long
Oh,
error.
Come on.
Yeah,
really?
3 hours
Come on,
long.
man.
There's an error every 2 minutes. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
like, still can't get over the woman with the heart of the oak. Anyways, so this movie's got its flaws, but it outshines those flaws.
Yes.
Just for the sheer fun of it. Just it's a love letter, and everyone had a great time doing it. I had no real major complaints. Other than, even with those little small things that we've mentioned, totally overlookable. Because the movie, like you guys said before, he knew what he was doing. He was not ashamed of what he was making, and they had a great time with it. Unfortunately, it was sad that it didn't do what it should have done. I think at the box office,
it should have done better.
Should have done
really
so much
should
better.
have.
Of course, now January for a monster film is not the best idea. I don't know who decided
no,
that.
It's not. Yeah.
Pushing this out to something like a summertime or even October probably would have seen a much better turnaround for this film.
I have to think they probably knew what they were up against, though. You can't keep a movie like Titanic.
That's
under
true, because that was
wraps.
May-ish.
Yeah, it was that's right around the big blockbuster time.
It was,
so
it was come up in that.
they've got Steven Summers sitting there going, I heard James is doing a boat movie too.
Yeah, that's true.
We probably shouldn't go up against that. But I find myself that January release movies that sometimes fly under the radar sometimes end up being my favorite movies. The Ninja movie, I don't think it's called Ninja, but it was the bloodiest flipping movie.
Ninja Assassin.
Yeah, that's it. That came out in January.
Yep, that's right.
Fantastic. Priest with Carl Urban and all them. January movie. There's a lot of those they're good movies, but the production companies weren't really behind them 100%,
right?
And they put them out there. Matter of fact, I think Constantine came out in January.
I think you're right on that too. Yeah.
And January is also, big picture wise, that's when everybody's broke from Christmas.
Well, so I got a little bit to it. My birthday's in January, so I always look forward to a movie that comes out. Matter of fact, this year, it was before the plague. There was a movie called The Gentleman that was coming out, done by name's slipping my mind, but Lock, Stock, Smoke and Barrel director Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
It only went to 20 theaters. It didn't get a full release, and I still can't find it on DVD.
Really?
It was like a January movie on my birthday, and I couldn't even go watch it.
I got it, by the way.
You have that?
Yeah.
Is it good?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Well then, okay.
I'm excited. But it's Guy Ritchie. I
was going to say it's a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah. Even Rock and Rolla was good.
Exactly.
You can't go wrong with Guy Ritchie. Never.
No, keep going with your thing.
So, but I mean, you guys really nailed it all, man. There's nothing that wasn't enjoyable. Everybody delivered top-notch acting. It was super fun. My only complaint, and this is going to be the one that's going to be off the wall probably for everybody, and this is really probably one of the reasons why I gave it a 4 because it just everything outshined what negatives there was. But the one negative that drove me nuts when I first went and watched this in '98, because as a kid I wanted, living in Florida. We would move to Tennessee actually at this point, but growing up I wanted to be a marine biologist. So I nerded out on all undersea life of all kinds. And when he starts talking about the Atoya, part of the Atoya family, and he's going on, a few hundred feet, they're only this big, 3,000 feet this big. The whole time I'm going, they're not alive. That's an extinct animal. So he's going on talking about this creature, the Atoya, which is a real thing. So when he's talking about Atoya, it is a real tapeworm, is what it is. Huh. But they are extinct. They were not alive at the making of this film. They were not alive in 1901 or the 1800s or so I'm like, so as a kid, I'm like, that don't make any sense, man. Like we don't have a live one. We have fossil records of these things, and that is absolutely it. So how they had 400 feet, 3,000. So that was my one major nitpick was that. And of course, anybody else who's seen it, you've seen it how many times?
I literally could say I'm in the 20s and 30s.
Did you have any idea about the Atoyas?
No.
I was probably the one kid that was like that.
The only thing I can take from that explanation, which is great. I mean, you make a good point, but you also got to. Sometimes I remove myself from reality and I'll put myself in a movie. They're experiencing a giant monster trying to eat them. Yeah. So let's put some kind of semblance to it. It's kind of like in Tremors where he kept calling it a space alien. I think they come from space, and then he's disappointed when they find a fossil record of the graboids. He's like, man, there goes my space theory.
My space theory.
Yeah. So, I kind of then, like, I get you. Yeah, you're right. That would probably knock me out of it if I had studied it enough. But I also sit there and go, yeah, you're being attacked by a giant freaking tentacle that looks like what you saw in a picture.
And growing up watching it when it came out, and then for many years, I mean, like you, I've probably seen this movie at least 50 times.
Yeah. It's uncountable.
It's so good. It is so much fun. They look more like lampreys to me.
They do.
And that's what I always is like for me. And it was just a nitpick. It's like the toys look nothing like this thing, and they don't exist. And like, this should have been a lamprey. But like I said, that would be the
I
only
think it
thing
would
I
have
pick.
just made it too real. Like if you tried to call it something that actually existed and
True,
was
because then you would
floating
need
around.
to come through and be like, okay, you need to mix in radioactivity or something. If
Exactly.
It's a lamprey, so that does.
I think maybe
again we're suspending belief with any monster movie.
Well, you have to on any.
Well,
of them,
they did throw in the China Sea Bermuda Triangle,
which was cool.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
No, yeah, I think
at the very beginning,
Yep.
And they kind of explained it that way. So, I mean, they just kind of mention it in passing.
Well, that's the thing. This movie is so fast paced. You don't get hung up on the small things as much.
Don't.
The only reason I got hung up on the guy with the girls is because they kept doing it every time he was on screen.
I mean, every one of the mercs has their own different personality.
They had their shtick.
They've got their stick. And it was almost like they got to Cliff and they're like, oh, we're out of sticks. All we got left is this one, the womanizer type character. And it's like, that one drives me crazy. I've never liked.
They could have given him. I think he's played like a Samoan type character before, or some kind of tribal. Because I remember a movie where he's had like this huge tattoo on his face.
Well, he's also in Hobbs and Shaw. I mean, he's very Samoan.
Well, yeah, he's the brother in that.
Yep.
So yeah, you have that, and then obviously you got Trevor Gammons, who's the Australian. So then he's Kano in this. And honestly, if you want to make a little fanfic, he survived this, and that's why he's missing his eye in Mortal Kombat. There you go.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, we lost him in 2003. It's kind of sucks, but and he's not Australian.
No, he isn't he?
He is British. His parents came out after he died. He played it up that he was Australian for acting roles. And it works. I mean, he's got it.
He
nailed
it.
Yeah, he's got the looks.
He has the look, and he faked the dialect and stuff. But his parents came out. It's funny. I just start reading all the little trivia things on this, and they're like, "Yeah, he's British." It's like, really?
That's how good of an actor that was.
There you go. That just puts it right up there for him.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Have you when you hear these people. What makes me think of that is like I forget his name, Rick Grimes in Walking Dead.
Oh yeah,
you hear him talking real. I'm like, how good you have to be that you can just get rid of that accent on demand.
Well, Tom Holland, Spider-Man. He's
Tom Holland. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
See, but though I can get Benedict because he has that very proper.
Well, but have you ever heard him talk? His accent is so thick.
It's very thick, but I can believe that. Tom Holland, though.
Yeah, he's a kid still.
He's a kid, and he has that voice control of his dialect.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at that. Like the first time I heard an interview with him, and I'm like, oh my god.
They're just better at it than we are. Because what American actor do you know that can do that opposite? You know what I mean? Reverse it.
Yeah, even in the movies, that's always the foreign people making the American.
Yeah.
Like even in Die Hard.
They talk better American than
they
we
learned
do.
how to speak English. Die Hard with a Vengeance, where he goes in and just changes it right on like that, the snap of a finger. It's kind of amazing how these guys can do it.
So good at it.
Me, I can't drop my Southern drawl, and I lived in Ohio for 10 years. And then I come back, and now they tell me I talk funny down here. I can't win. I just can't.
Don't know how to do it. So, but yeah, I mean, this one, it's super great. We gave this one total, Ruben gave it a 3.5, but the rest of us gave it 4. So 4 stomps out of 5. A super fun film. You're going to go in again. My wife watched it. She does not like action films at all. She doesn't like creature films at all. And even though she's been a little more open to watching with me, she loves this movie. And that says it all.
Same with my wife. She loves creature features, but that's not really huge on watching the action movies with me. She gets bored with them. But she enjoyed it other than the white tank top on Famke Janssen the entire movie.
But even those little things, I mean, they're so easily overlooked. In this
they are totally overlookable.
It is so high entertaining.
Yeah,
it absolutely is.
I completely recommend this movie to anyone. If you have not seen it, go watch it.
Oh, absolutely. So, anything else you guys want to add?
Just we're good, man.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm good over here. Yeah,
4 stomps out of 5,
great.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well deserving of it.
Absolutely is. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, man, again, Charlie, thank you so much for joining the episode. We greatly appreciate it. And everybody listening, go join Give Me Back My Action Movies on Facebook. Be looking for the first episode January.
Yep. I'm going to be releasing hopefully the first week of January. We'll announce it. We'll start getting we'll call it a press release, but we'll start getting, like all the posts and everything, and, get people like Pete and everybody to start sharing
sneak
stuff.
preview. You have a sneak preview of the candidates you have for your first show as far as movies go?
Well, we
or do you
just
not want to let the cat out of the bag yet?
I don't mind this. Like I was telling Sludge earlier, we were just talking briefly about some action movies, and me and my partner decided the question we asked ourselves was, what was the first action movie you remember as a kid? What would have been the first movie you were probably introduced to? And both of us were like Delta Force. And the more you start thinking about it, you're like, man, because it was the perfect action movie to let a kid watch. Now, it was more realistic in the violence, and honestly, a more realistic movie, there's no nudity. There's not a lot of language that can't be overlooked or done by briefly. There's not even a lot of gore. Some guys get shot up and, have the Navy SEAL that gets hurt. And like I was telling Sludge, I have a wood shop and I have a TV out there, and I always put a movie on in the background. It's just my noise. And I had Delta Force on, and my son comes out. He's about 14, and I'm doing my thing, and I turn around and he is glued to the television, standing, arms crossed, doesn't take his eyes off the television.
They're great movies.
It's fantastic. And it was right at that scene where Chuck Norris was riding the motorcycle to the plane.
Oh yeah.
And and I'm just standing there going, it's about time. It's time for him to start watching these movies. Yeah. So our first episode is going to be Delta Force.
That's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
we're looking forward to it.
You got me thinking what mine was, but my very first action movie was a Kung Fu movie. Do you count that as action? Or is that
we actually talked about that. I need to delve more into the, martial art movies and stuff. I've watched quite a few, but I'm not as well versed on it. But we count, I know we're called Give Me Back My Action Movies, but we're probably going to talk about some current movies too. You can't do a show like that and not talk about Expendables. You can't do a show like that and not talk about, the next Terminator that comes out or something, or the Rambo movies.
Yeah. Right.
You have to talk about that stuff. But no, we're gonna count things like, if I had to say what the first action-filled movie would have been like an old military movie my dad made me watch, or the Dirty Dozen.
Exactly.
Bridge over the River Kwai.
Movie.
That would have been my first action experience. But as far as the movie that you think of when you say action movies, that type of genre, it's Chuck Norris and Delta Force.
Yeah. And mine is mine. Well, I thought about the Kung Fu movie, but before that, Good Guys Wear Black was like one of the first. Action
No, they were
movies
good.
I ever saw,
Down even to the Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Those kind of movies. Outlaw Josie Wales.
I think when it comes for me, like with Delta Force, man. Like, before I got to Delta Force, I got to Delta Force because of Missing in Action.
I see that. I did I was the reverse. I watched the Michigan Actions after Delta Force.
So I was exactly opposite, man. I loved Norris. Braddock was I think Braddock was the first one I watched. That was the second one, right?
Braddock is the second one.
So I watched it. Then I went back and watched the first Missing in Action.
Yep.
And then was like, I need to find more Chuck Norris, and then.
And that was kind of it. I was born in 80. So a lot of these movies were out when I was, still way too young to be watching these. So as a kid in, mid 90s is really when my dad was like, okay, we can start watching these kind of movies. Yeah. And so I'm watching Delta Force and I'm watching this. And then the movie Sidekicks came out. And I'm just like, oh, wow, that's me. I love Chuck Norris movies so much. I want to put myself in these movies. And
just made me feel so old.
I'm sorry, man.
You said you were born in 80.
I was born in 80, man.
I was in 9th grade in 1980.
I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm sorry.
And Mark was feeling even worse than I do.
I had graduated high school in 1980.
Oh man,
Yeah.
See?
man, super! I
Yeah.
can't wait for that show. So
Nah,
it's gonna be so much fun.
So excited.
Because there was a movie that came out in the early '80s. I don't know if you ever watched it. I love. I think it's Gene Hackman. Uncommon Valor.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
It's got
yeah.
crap. His name's just left me. I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Uncommon
Captain America.
You're
Hate when I
the football player.
Yeah, the football
It
player.
was Captain America in the
Yes.
70s one.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Red Brown.
Yes,
Red
yeah,
Brown. He
Yeah,
is in that. I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah,
actually.
I would
Yeah.
rent that movie. Back in the day, I would rent.
I love that movie.
Would rented that movie over and
There-
over again. I go to the video store, and if I didn't find anything, I just go get Uncommon Valor.
Yep.
And rent that again.
It's
So-
been re-released, but you can only get it through an Australian
Really?
distribution company. Because I got excited. Reb put a post out that Uncommon Valor is getting like a
Oh.
re-release, and so I go on the
Cool.
website, and it's like it's coming out of Australia, and I was like, can I even play Australian DVDs here? I'm
I
like,
know
where can
it.
I find this streaming?
Yeah, you can.
And I'm sorry, that movie, I can't think of another scene other than when the guy jumps out of the high tower with the grenades
Yeah.
and blows himself up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's one, and because you said Red Brown, I want to bring it up real quick, and then we'll get things wrapped up.
Wrap it up.
Is Robo War. I have not seen it. I have it, and I've got it on my Plex, but it's Red Brown's in it. But it was a mix. I mean, the movie unabashedly. I mean, even the promo was like, "This is the mix of Predator, Rambo, and RoboCop."
I've seen the cover, the poster for this.
Right?
Yes.
Man, I like it. And for those who don't know, Red Brown is he was Cap in the first two Cap films that came out in the
The
70s.
motorcycle helmet Captain
Yeah,
America.
the clear shield acrylic Cap. It was rough, but it was still great. He was a great Cap.
Yeah.
He was fun.
He's a super nice dude.
Is he?
Yes.
Man. Like I just love him. And then Uncommon Valor, he's great in it. But there's you guys were talking about, I'm like, man, Robo War is one to have to check out if you haven't seen it. Because I haven't seen it yet. I have it. I just haven't gotten around to watching it because of good old Reb. And it just looks crazy.
It does. That the cover alone is just phenomenal.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be great. So, all right, well, guys, definitely be excuse me, looking forward to the podcast, and we will definitely be sharing it on our pages so that you guys know as soon as the episode premieres to be checking it out. I can't wait to hear Delta Force. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So
awesome.
a movie's great when they do a comedy ripoff. Who was it? Was it Larry the Cable Guy?
Larry the Cable Guy, Delta Farce.
Delta Farce, that's right.
Yep.
So I'm excited about that one because those movies were really, really good.
Absolutely.
So. And of course, stay tuned again this month. Our next episode this month is finally the movie that shall not be named, and that is the 1998 Sony TriStar Godzilla film. And we will have another guest for that one. That will be none other than Justin McLean, who will be the only person defending that film on that episode, I do believe.
So now, will you have
He's nationally recognized as a Godzilla.
He is, you know.
Yeah.
He needs to be like when they re-release that, they're going to be like, okay, we need somebody to do the commentary. We'll be like, Justin, just get Justin. He's going to say anything good about it.
I noticed on the Plex that somebody was watching that movie and stopped mid movie.
That was me.
That was you.
Yes.
Okay. And
we got to watch it.
Are you going to be bringing your magazine
No, I'm not
down
bringing that
and using it?
down.
You know,
That
the one
told you.
I have seen this mythical magazine.
Oh,
actually,
yes,
I have
yes.
seen
Charlie
it.
has seen it.
It's up
I've
there.
seen the
Yes.
toys as well.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
a hair of carving a Godzilla 98 for
It's
you.
so great.
I was a
That would've been
hair.
awesome.
I was like, you know what? Though that might be for my next
Yes.
collaboration, because if I did it now, I would never be back on the show.
His one and only
That was
episode.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, we got to watch it. Actually, because Gavin, I was going to start Deep Rising, and Gavin came in and wanted to hang out with me, and I hung out with him all day, and he's like, "Let's watch some dance." I'm like, "Okay, we can't watch Deep Rising because
No, that is not a kid
And
movie.
I'm like, so let's
Yeah.
we'll get started on Godzilla because I got to watch it this month, and so that's why we got to.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, "What is this, Dad?" I'm like, "It's technically a Godzilla film." He's like, "Okay," and he's like, "Is it?" And I'm like, "No, but yes, you'll see." And so we go through and we're watching it, and he's like, "Dad, why aren't they showing them all yet?" You know, because you see like just the foot or like the spines or whatever. And I'm like, "You're going to find out." And he's like, "Okay." And then you finally see the full reveal, and he's like, "That's not Godzilla." And I'm like, "Exactly. That's why they waited so long."
Kids going places. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So, but definitely stay tuned. What's that?
No, I'm just saying
okay.
they hit him very well, even in the
They had no choice.
Trailers.
Oh yeah, all the promo leading up.
Yeah.
All you ever saw was a foot or a tail or something like that.
Yeah. Man, they should have. We'll get into that one. It'll be an interesting episode. So, yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that one. I know. I feel so bad, Justin. I love you. We love you. You're
we
probably
do. Yeah, man.
on that one.
I'm new to the group, Justin, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now,
Because
Justin, if he gives his own dad a hard time, come on, man.
Yeah, you're in trouble. But see now, what Justin's not only got to defend this movie, he has to defend this movie being the guy who does not like Shin Godzilla.
Ah, that's right. That's the twist.
Yeah, the winner of 11 Japanese Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get there, Justin.
So when we get the Shin, then he should be allowed to come on and present his case.
Get paraded.
Yeah.
We'll let him do that.
You know.
There you go, Justin. You can do two now.
Yeah.
We want to find out why. So. But yeah, so it'll be awesome. Join us for that one. And then next month, man, we've got some special stuff for you guys. So next month, not only do we have to or get to do another good Godzilla film with Godzilla 2000, we've got our Christmas special that we're going to be doing none other than Krampus, going down Mike Doherty's Christmas Tale, which I absolutely love.
That's fantastic.
Super stoked for that.
Yeah.
But we have something super special for you guys. We are going to go back and we are going to re-review another Godzilla film, Destroy All Monsters, but we're not doing it alone. Special guest August Ragone, none other than the man himself, will be here for that episode. It'll be the first week of December. Super stoked, super humbled to have August on the show. Actually, Pete messaged me.
Yeah,
because I told him about it, and we usually talk about our shows prior to releases, what we're doing and things. And I'm like, dude, you're never going to guess who's going to be on the show. He's like, who? I'm like, August Ragone. He's like, how did you get him on the show? I mean, people are like, if you don't know who August is he is the Encyclopedia Britannica for everything Japanese tokusatsu.
Yep.
Whether it's live action, anime, Godzilla. He the first Japanese Asian film convention in the United States, he did. He's an editor-in-chief for Famous Monsters of Filmland. He's wrote a couple books. He's done commentary for the Criterion Godzilla collection and a bunch of movies. I mean, the dude knows everything.
Yeah.
And it's super humbling that he's going to be on the show.
Oh, you were fanboying pretty hard on Facebook.
Big
about that.
time, dude.
That was great.
That was the best Godzilla birthday ever.
Yeah, that was right. That was right in the Godzilla birthday. So I mean, that was just
birthday, dude. Matt Frank comments on one of my posts. August Ragone's messaging me. I'm like,
Tristan was having the day of his life. Right
I was
there.
a 16-year-old girl watching Elvis.
That's
man.
it, man.
That was me all the
it.
way. So stoked about it, man. And Pete's like, "How did you get him to come on the show?" I'm like, I just asked. That was
how
literally
you get
it.
90% of stuff is you ask.
Yeah, and he was super humble and nice about it. And he was like, I would love to do it, So we talked back and forth, and Destroy All Monsters is his favorite of the Godzilla films. So we're gonna revisit on that one with him, which is gonna be pretty cool. And we got some other things in store for that episode, but super excited. So first episode of December, going to have August Ragone there with us, and of course we're going to hit Godzilla 2000 for the second episode, and we're going to round off the holiday season with Krampus. So December is going to be super awesome, and it'll make us feel better after the next episode that we've got to do, and that's the Godzilla 98 film. So, but
hey, you named it. Now at least it's named.
I had to.
It's out.
officially
The name's out.
time. It's officially time to release the name on it.
Yeah.
So we'll get through it. I mean, if I made it through Titanic, I will make it through this film. I mean, I honestly haven't watched it in a long time. You saw it on the Plex played. That's probably the first time in a long. I never even watched the whole movie with Jada. And that was one, that was, I don't know. I don't even know who it showed her that one first, because she saw it before when I was like, no, this is Godzilla.
No, you showed her.
I didn't show her.
It was you.
That was you.
Yeah, you did.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
No, that's
well, those that have been listening to the show the whole time know that I do have some positive things that I attribute.
I got none.
But it has nothing to do about the movie. But and I'll help out Justin a little bit on that part, but not much.
It was, and we'll get there, but I mean, that was a young boy's excited journey to what was going to be the first great Hollywood Godzilla, and then they just beat me up, swirled me, pissed in my Cheerios, you name it, they did it, and
you bought the magazine.
Okay, dude,
You bought
it's
the
canon,
magazine.
man.
He's never going to let that
He's
go.
never going
That's
to.
sorry.
never going away.
Never
It's
going to.
there. It's there.
But
And not only did I not just stumble across it here at your house, you came to my work.
I know.
it was.
And
I
made
just
me
been
come,
flea
and
market.
made me
Filthy.
come to the car.
That's
Yes.
a-
No,
You
yes.
got
I made you
that
come to the car
filthy
because-
magazine.
no.
I walked up and said, "What's that in the
No, no.
car right there?"
You came to the car because I came through the drive-through, and you, like normal, who don't work when he's working, is everyone inside's busy working, and Mark's over here smoking a cigarette on the pavilion.
Thank
You
you.
had to walk over to my car. I didn't say, "Hey, come here."
Oh, no, you was like, "Hey,"
I was
you
not.
was like, "Hey, come here." And so I thought, well, we got an emergency. I rush over there, and then I'm startled
You didn't rush over there.
to see what I see.
You hobbled with your cane.
Ruben, it's getting a little heated over here, man. I don't know how to feel.
The passenger seat of that car was
Oh,
just
man.
like, oh my gosh,
I'm telling
what
you
do I see?
What
Yeah.
is that?
That's funny.
Hey,
It'll-
did you, hey
Yeah,
Mark?
it-
Did you try to cover up the windows so
Well,
nobody could see?
No,
So
he
you wouldn't
gets
be
his.
embarrassed?
He takes his phone out and takes a picture of it.
Yes,
That's what he
thank you
does.
very
Nice.
much. Thank you very much.
That's
Yes,
the way
I
it
did.
rolls. My
Yeah.
wife's always like, "You're so mean to your dad," because like, what was it the other day? I had gotten something food wise. I took a picture of it and sent it to you.
What was that?
We do it a lot.
I didn't open it. And
You
look at it.
probably
I
did.
didn't.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's for my son. I'm not looking at this. Who
Dude.
knows what it is?
Yeah, like if I got some way to just dig it into him in some
Oh,
form
yeah.
or fashion, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always give each other a hard time about it.
Yeah.
And so I knew. I mean,
Well, the thing about it is, it's like it's just like with this magazine. All right. Now you drive all the way down to my work, so I see this magazine, and then you
This
want to
filth.
come up with an excuse and say, "Oh, well, I bought these figurines, and they just
That was
so
a different
happened
experience.
to
That was a different one. Yeah, that
put
was
the
that-
1998 Godzilla in here."
It was in the
Oh,
box.
man.
Oh
okay?
yeah,
I
It just
couldn't
happened.
pass up
It just
$20,
happened.
and I got a $45 Bylante, got a $30 Gigan. That's what it was for.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They were just in there.
Hey,
I didn't bring up
you coulda-
Titanic
you coulda
3
gone-
times.
You could have passed
You
by.
did.
You could
Oh my
have passed
God.
by a poor. You could have passed by a poor homeless family. And
Exactly.
And had a kid and given
Yeah.
the Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
given
you
that.
could have.
That is like the ultimate
But
douche move.
no, Ruben.
Yeah.
They're on the shelf up here.
No, that would be a douche
They are on
move.
the shelf. They're on display
God
in
would
the
be
nerd
like,
room.
They are.
you know,
I'm sorry. They are.
if I'm driving by a homeless person, it's like, okay, I should go get you food. That's a good thing. I go drive by a homeless person and go, here's some 98 Godzilla figures. God's in heaven going, you need to repent now.
I gotta agree with that
Yeah.
one.
You just committed cardinal sin right there.
Oh Lordy,
You make a good point. I'm like, wait a minute. The guy looks at it like, what? You're trying to give me a Godzilla 98? What the heck's
That
wrong
movie
with you?
was terrible.
I'd rather stay homeless than accept this.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Go back to your fancy house.
Yeah.
that's the way
If
that
you were
would be.
Catholic-
That's the way that'd be.
If you were Catholic, you'd have to go to confession.
I would.
Oh man.
Multiple times.
That's 100 Hail Marys right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all so
All right.
much for listening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Again, thank you, Charlie, for showing up. Y'all go check it out. Give me back my action movies on Facebook. Got the new show coming out in January.
January.
We'll make sure and share that on all the pages and let you guys know
Yep.
how to check it out. Join us again for the unfortunate crappy movie we keep talking about this month. And of course, be ready for December. We got a lot of great treats for you. This is Sludge.
And Mark.
Got Ruben.
And then our special guest.
Charlie.
Y'all have a good night.
What is the pieces of news that you're talking about?
I'm not telling you until you actually
See,
hear it.
you do that stuff, man, and that just throws it all out, man. And
Just
just like,
make it-
okay,
Somebody's got to be surprised, you know. One of them you'll like. I
okay.
think
See
you'll
there,
really like one
see
of
you do that stuff, and then, it's
Yeah,
just kind of
you
like
fucking compare it
RoboCop,
now.
man. I mean, I said it didn't like RoboCop, and look what's happened, man. It's went crazy. and then I make a comment on it, and then you lose your mind.
Well, hey,
Well, I'll tell you what, that was something. It was like good. It's like, I don't like RoboCop. What?
Oh, yeah.
You hit the right button on that show.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
waiting for the next episode because I'm like, I need closure. What's going on here?
Exactly,
And then he's all like, well, if you'll watch RoboCop, I'll watch Titanic. And then we were like, oh, yeah, we're on this.
I was
now.
so sold. That was rough.
Yeah.
We're not,
And
we're not
the
gonna
thing
get that
is, he could edit it any way he wanted to make you look like, like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
a terrible
Oh,
person.
yeah.
I could have.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I listen. Okay. Just to let you know, I listen.
Yeah.
All right.
Mark doesn't listen to the shows. He listened to that one.
Yeah.
He made sure. So.
Yeah.